world where we're constantly encouraged to stay strong and keep it together, sometimes the bravest thing we can do is admit that we're just not okay. And Melody Faith is the creator and host of the faith-based podcast, Safe InSecurity, and she's with me today to tell us how she is helping people uncover the roots of their insecurities, one episode, one story, and one breakthrough at a time. Good morning to you.
Good morning. So glad to be here.
So glad to have you. Okay, so tell me, what inspired you to first start a podcast, right? Because podcasting is a very difficult thing to hop into, but also what made you make this the theme?
Now, honestly, I didn't really want to start a podcast because I used to be the most insecure person I know, believe it or not. I struggled with a lot of insecurities, and if you had told me 5 years ago that I would be doing this, then I probably would have said you were crazy and you need to find someone else. But it was basically because I knew that there were so many other people like me who had struggled with insecurity and that still struggle with insecurity because it honestly affects everyone in some way, shape, or form. And I had to just let go of the notion of comparison and thinking about how oversaturated it seems like the market is, and know that there are people who need a safe space to be vulnerable and still feel valuable.
You know what? You are so right in the fact that it affects everyone. I mean, literally, as I was walking into the building this morning, I'm so blessed to be here and do this job, right? And in my head, I was thinking, my best friend is on vacation right now and I wish I was on vacation. You know what I mean? And our minds just instantly do that, right? And we feel insecure, like, why can't we do that? Why can't we go and do those things right now in this moment? So it affects all of us. So why do you believe these conversations are so needed, especially right now?
Well, they're not talked about enough because, like you said, and like we said, it affects everybody. And sometimes it shows up in the way of comparing yourself. Other times it's more localized, where you just are thinking about the things that you feel insufficient in or deficient in. And you feel like somehow, you know, the universe is holding out on you because I didn't get this opportunity. I wasn't born into this family. I don't look like this, that, whatever. And so you just have to really open up safe spaces for people to be vulnerable so they can overcome it.
You say that in your podcast too, to be safe in your insecurity, to be okay with it. Do you think it's hard for people, especially adults, to be in that safe space, to be okay and just sit in that insecurity?
It's so hard because people think that having a certain image or being thought of in a certain way by people and having that human validation is the most important thing, especially in our social media driven age.
So I was just about to say, social media has damaged us in that fact, in that space for sure. Oh my goodness. Okay, you're so right in that. Now, the podcast blends personal stories, faith, actionable advice. So what are some tips that someone can take today to maybe feel okay with sitting in that safe space and saying, okay, this is what I'm insecure in and it is okay, and I'm going to take the rest of the year to work on it?
I would definitely say, first of all, embrace your uniqueness because there are so many things that make you special and unique and different, and you don't want to belittle or downplay those things because they're actually what you were put here for. We need your voice, your story, your sound. And also, you don't have to perform to earn love. So that is a very, very important thing for us to understand. We don't have to deserve love. We don't have to perform to earn it.
You know, I like that because a lot of people only understand conditional love and that you have to do something in order to get it. And when you realize and you meet someone who just gives it to you unconditionally and just wants you to be okay because of who you are, whole doors open up, new doors open up. Exactly. Indeed. What do you hope for listeners to get out of tuning into your podcast after they cut it off and they walk away, whether they get out the car or whatever, if they're done doing their chores and they're listening to you in the background, what do you hope they take away into the rest of their day?
Well, first off, I hope that they are inspired to create safe spaces for others because we need more of them.
Yes.
I don't think that I'm even the only podcast that addresses that. You know, we need safe spaces in our workplaces where there's a lot of workplace insecurity and burnout because of it, and being undervalued and being the roots to somebody else's tree.
You're here on the perfect day because we just got done talking about that.
Absolutely. In our schools, you know, there's kids going back to school. You need to be secure in knowing that you have a safe space to be vulnerable and talk about the things that you're comparing yourself or you're feeling envious or you're feeling, feeling like something is deficient or missing. And we need those for our relationships as well because it's going to help revolutionize our relationships, to help us to not feel like someone else is better or greater than we are, but that we both complete each other because we have different sides of the same picture.
You know, I'm so glad that you mentioned children because of the simple fact that if we take the time as adults to correctly and healthily teach ourselves these tips. I mean, it's incredibly important. If we can pass those down to our children, and we can just stop the cycle in its path right there. I mean, my goodness, we will build a whole new generation.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for everything that you're doing. You have a new book coming out, and so if you could tell us where we can find that, that would be great.
Yes, so it's not out just yet, but if you follow me or if you go to thisismelodyfaith.com, also This Is Melody Faith on Instagram, and the podcast is available on all streaming platforms. I'll be sure to make a lot of announcements about when the book is available.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so basically you got to listen to the podcast and know where the book is. I love it. Melody, thank you so much for being here.